Our first story begins in Chicago, where phone scammer Archibald operated a fake IRS call center from a converted warehouse, managing a team of 37 callers who targeted elderly Americans with threatening tax debt collection calls. He had been running phone scam operations for 8 years and developed sophisticated scripts that combined official-sounding tax terminology with high-pressure tactics designed to create panic and force immediate payment. His operation used caller ID spoofing technology to make calls appear to come from government agencies, and he trained his team to use authentic-sounding badge numbers and case reference codes that seemed legitimate to frighten victims. When retired teacher Cordelia received a call claiming she owed $12,000 in back taxes with immediate arrest threatened, Archibald's caller identified himself as Agent Johnson from the IRS Criminal Investigation Division and provided detailed account information that seemed to prove the legitimacy of the tax debt. The caller knew my full name, address, and social security number, and he explained that I had made errors on my tax returns from 3 years ago that resulted in substantial penalties and interest charges. Cordelia recalled about the terrifying phone call that lasted over an hour. He said that arrest warrants had already been issued and that police were being dispatched to my home, but that I could avoid arrest by immediately paying the tax debt through prepaid debit cards or wire transfer. However, Cordelia discovered that Archibald had been purchasing stolen personal information from data brokers and using it to make his tax scam calls seem authentic, while threatening victims with arrest and prosecution that the IRS never conducts through unsolicited phone calls. The operation involved multiple phone lines, sophisticated call routing systems, and detailed victim databases that tracked previous contacts and payment attempts to maximize the effectiveness of follow-up calls. Investigation revealed that Archibald's fake IRS operation had collected over $2 million from more than 800 victims, primarily elderly Americans who believed they were resolving legitimate tax problems, but were actually paying criminals who had no connection to any government agency. Our second story takes us to Miami, where tech support scammer Beauregard managed a fraudulent computer repair operation that targeted home computer users with calls claiming their devices had been infected with viruses or compromised by hackers. He had been running tech support scams for 6 years and developed convincing presentations that combined legitimate computer terminology with fabricated security threats designed to frighten victims into purchasing unnecessary computer services and software. His team of 24 callers used remote access software to take control of victims' computers and demonstrate fake security problems while selling expensive repair services and antivirus programs that were worthless or even malicious. When retired accountant Evangeline received a call claiming her computer was broadcasting malware and compromising her personal information, Beauregard's technician convinced her to allow remote access to demonstrate the security threats and provide immediate technical assistance. The technician showed me error messages and suspicious files on my computer that proved it was infected with dangerous viruses that were stealing my personal information. Evangeline explained about the computer repair session that lasted 3 hours. He demonstrated how hackers were accessing my banking information and explained that immediate action was required to prevent identity theft and financial fraud. But Evangeline learned that Beauregard's technicians had been creating fake error messages and installing temporary files to make computers appear infected while selling expensive repair services that weren't necessary and sometimes installing actual malware to justify future service calls. The operation used sophisticated remote access tools and convincing technical demonstrations to make victims believe their computers were severely compromised and required immediate professional intervention. Investigation uncovered that Beauregard's tech support scam had defrauded over 1,200 computer users out of approximately $1.5 million while potentially compromising their devices with malicious software installed during fraudulent repair sessions. Our third story unfolds in Phoenix, where charity scammer Lysander operated a fake fundraising organization that solicited donations for fictitious veterans charities and disaster relief programs through aggressive telemarketing campaigns. He had been running charity phone scams for 7 years and created elaborate backstories for non-existent charitable organizations while training his callers to use emotional manipulation and high-pressure tactics to extract donations from sympathetic victims. His operation used official-sounding charity names, fabricated tax-exempt status documentation, and detailed victim databases that tracked donation history and personal information to to maximize fundraising effectiveness through targeted follow-up calls. When compassionate nurse Prudence received calls requesting donations for wounded veterans' medical treatment, Lysander's fundraiser provided detailed stories about specific soldiers who needed immediate financial assistance for prosthetic limbs and rehabilitation services. The fundraiser described heartbreaking cases of young veterans who had been wounded in combat and needed donations for medical equipment that wasn't covered by government benefits. Prudence recalled about the emotional fundraising calls that continued for several months. He provided specific names and injury details that made the veteran's situation seem real and urgent, and he explained that small donations could make a significant difference in their recovery and quality of life. However, Prudence discovered that Lysander had been creating entirely fictional charity organizations and veteran stories while keeping virtually all donated funds for personal use instead of providing any assistance to actual veterans or disaster victims. The operation involved sophisticated storytelling, fake charity websites, and fraudulent tax documentation designed to convince donors that their contributions were supporting legitimate charitable causes. Investigation revealed that Lysander's fake charity operation had collected over $800,000 from more than 1,500 donors who believed they were helping veterans and disaster victims but were actually funding criminal operations that provided no charitable services whatsoever. Our fourth story brings us to Dallas, where romance scammer Quincy operated an elaborate online dating fraud that used phone calls to build emotional connections with lonely victims before requesting financial assistance for fabricated emergencies. He had been running romance scams for 9 years and developed sophisticated persona creation techniques that combined stolen photographs, detailed background stories, and skilled emotional manipulation to create convincing romantic relationships with vulnerable victims seeking companionship. His operation involved multiple fake dating profiles, extensive victim research, and carefully scripted phone conversations designed to build trust and emotional dependency before introducing financial requests disguised as temporary emergencies or investment opportunities. When recently divorced secretary Samantha began receiving romantic phone calls from someone claiming to be a deployed military officer, Quincy spent months building an intimate relationship through daily conversations about personal dreams, family relationships, and future plans together. He called every day and shared personal stories about his military service and family background that made our relationship feel genuine and meaningful. Samantha explained about the romantic relationship that developed over 8 months of phone conversations. He sent thoughtful messages and remembered details about my life that proved he was genuinely interested in building a real relationship with me. But Samantha learned that Quincy had been using stolen military photographs and fabricated personal information while targeting multiple victims through identical romantic scripts designed to extract money through emergency requests and investment scams. The operation involved detailed victim profiles that tracked emotional vulnerabilities and financial capabilities to optimize the timing and amount of money requests during the fake relationships. Investigation uncovered that Quincy's romance scam operation had defrauded over 60 victims out of approximately $900,000 while causing severe emotional trauma to people seeking legitimate romantic connections through online dating platforms. Our fifth story takes place in Las Vegas, where lottery scammer Reginald managed a fraudulent sweepstakes operation that contacted victims with claims they had won substantial cash prizes in international lotteries and contests they had never entered. He had been running lottery scam operations for 5 years and developed convincing prize notification scripts that combined legitimate lottery terminology with official-sounding legal procedures designed to make fake winnings seem authentic and legally binding. His team used sophisticated calling systems and detailed winner databases to track victim responses and coordinate follow-up calls that maintained the illusion of legitimate prize processing while extracting processing fees and personal information from excited victims. When retired construction worker Sterling received calls claiming he had won $400,000 in the European International Lottery, Reginald's prize coordinator provided detailed winning numbers, draw dates, and claim procedures that seemed to verify the authenticity of the substantial cash prize. The lottery coordinator explained that my name had been randomly selected from international email databases and that I had won a significant cash prize that required immediate claim processing to avoid forfeiture. Sterling recalled about the prize notification calls that continued for several weeks. He provided official-sounding reference numbers and legal procedures that proved the lottery was legitimate, and that my winnings were being held in a secure account pending final documentation. However, Sterling discovered that Reginald had been creating entirely fictitious lottery organizations and prize drawings while requesting processing fees, taxes, and legal documentation costs that victims paid believing they would receive substantial cash prizes that never existed. The operation involved fake lottery websites, fraudulent legal documentation, and sophisticated banking arrangements designed to collect fees while maintaining the illusion that prize payments were being processed through legitimate legal channels. Investigation revealed that Reginald's lottery scam operation had collected over $600,000 from more than 400 victims who paid various fees believing they would receive lottery winnings that were completely fabricated by criminal organizations with no connection to any legitimate lottery or sweepstakes programs. Our sixth story occurs in Seattle, where medical scammer Stephanie operated a fraudulent health insurance enrollment operation that targeted uninsured Americans with phone calls offering affordable health coverage through fake insurance programs. She had been running health insurance scams for 4 years and developed convincing sales presentations that combine legitimate insurance terminology with fabricated coverage benefits designed to attract victims seeking affordable medical protection. Her operation used official-sounding insurance company names, fake policy documentation, and sophisticated enrollment procedures that seemed to provide legitimate health insurance while actually collecting premium payments for worthless coverage that provided no medical benefits. When uninsured restaurant worker Thaddeus received calls offering comprehensive health insurance for $60 per month, Stephanie's enrollment specialist provided detailed coverage information including doctor visits, prescription medications, and hospitalization benefits that seemed too good to refuse. The insurance representative explained that new government programs were making affordable health coverage available to previously uninsured workers and that I qualified for substantial premium subsidies. Thaddeus explained about the health insurance enrollment process that required immediate premium payments to secure coverage. She provided policy numbers and coverage details that proved the insurance was legitimate and would provide the medical protection I needed for my family. But Thaddeus learned that Stephanie had been creating fictitious insurance companies and coverage programs while collecting premium payments for policies that provided no actual medical coverage or benefits when victims attempted to use their supposed insurance for healthcare services. The operation involved fake insurance websites, fraudulent policy documentation, and sophisticated payment processing systems designed to collect monthly premiums while providing no legitimate insurance coverage or medical benefits. Investigation uncovered that Stephanie's fake insurance operation had collected over $700,000 from more than 900 victims who paid premiums believing they had purchased legitimate health insurance but received no medical coverage when they attempted to use their policies for healthcare services. Our seventh story unfolds in Atlanta, where investment scammer Tyler managed a fraudulent financial services operation that contacted potential investors with exclusive investment opportunities promising guaranteed returns through sophisticated trading strategies and insider market knowledge. He had been running investment phone scams for 10 years and developed convincing financial presentations that combined legitimate investment terminology with fabricated market analysis designed to attract victims seeking better investment returns than traditional financial products offered. His operation used sophisticated market data, fake performance reports, and detailed investment documentation that seemed to verify the legitimacy of exclusive trading programs, while actually operating as elaborate Ponzi schemes that used new investor funds to pay returns to earlier victims. When retirement planning nurse Vanessa received calls offering exclusive access to hedge fund investment opportunities with guaranteed monthly returns, Tyler's investment advisor provided detailed market analysis and performance projections that seemed to justify the exceptional investment returns being offered. The investment advisor explained that exclusive trading strategies were generating consistent profits for qualified investors and that I had been selected for a limited investment opportunity. Vanessa recalled about the investment consultation that included detailed financial planning and market analysis. He provided impressive performance reports and explained that sophisticated trading algorithms were generating superior returns that weren't available through traditional investment channels. However, Vanessa discovered that Tyler had been operating a complex Ponzi scheme while providing fake performance reports and using new investor funds to pay returns to earlier victims instead of actually investing money in legitimate financial markets or trading strategies. The operation involved sophisticated financial documentation, fake trading platforms, and detailed investor communications designed to maintain the illusion of successful investment management while actually redistributing victim funds through fraudulent financial schemes. Investigation revealed that Tyler's investment scam operation had collected over $3 million from more than 200 investors who believed their money was being professionally managed in exclusive investment programs but was actually being used to fund criminal operations and pay fake returns to earlier victims in the fraudulent investment scheme. Our eighth story brings us to Phoenix, where utility scammer Wayne operated a fraudulent bill collection operation that targeted homeowners with threatening calls claiming their electricity or gas service would be immediately disconnected for unpaid bills. He had been running utility scam operations for 6 years and developed urgent payment scripts that combined authentic utility company information with high-pressure disconnection threats designed to frighten victims into making immediate payments through untraceable methods like prepaid cards or wire transfers. His operation used caller ID spoofing to make calls appear to come from legitimate utility companies, and his team was trained to use authentic account information and billing terminology that made disconnection threats seem credible and legally binding. When working mother Wilhelmina received calls claiming her electricity would be shut off within 2 hours unless she made immediate payment, Wayne's utility representative provided her account number, service address, and past due amount that seemed to verify the legitimacy of the disconnect notice. The utility representative knew specific details about my account and explained that my payment had been lost in processing, resulting in an overdue balance that required immediate payment to avoid service disconnection. Wilhelmina explained about the urgent utility call that demanded instant payment through prepaid debit cards. He said that normal payment methods wouldn't prevent disconnection because of the emergency status of my account, but that immediate payment through gift cards would restore my account status and prevent service interruption. But Wilhelmina learned that Wayne had been obtaining utility account information through data theft and using it to create convincing disconnection threats while demanding payments through untraceable methods that legitimate utility companies never require for bill payment or service restoration. The operation involved sophisticated data collection, authentic-sounding utility terminology, and urgent payment demands designed to prevent victims from verifying the legitimacy of disconnect notices through official utility company channels. Investigation uncovered that Wayne's utility scam operation had collected over $400,000 from more than 600 victims who made emergency payments believing their essential services would be disconnected but were actually paying criminals who had no connection to any legitimate utility company or service provider. Our ninth story takes place in Denver, where Medicare scammer Zoe managed a fraudulent healthcare enrollment operation that targeted senior citizens with calls offering enhanced Medicare benefits and supplemental coverage through fake government programs. She had been running Medicare scams for 8 years and developed convincing healthcare presentations that combine legitimate Medicare terminology with fabricated benefit programs designed to extract personal information and enrollment fees from confused seniors navigating complex healthcare options. Her operation used official-sounding government agency names, fake Medicare documentation, and sophisticated enrollment procedures that seemed to provide enhanced medical coverage while actually collecting personal information for identity theft and charging fees for worthless healthcare programs. When Medicare recipient Andrew received calls offering additional coverage for prescription medications and dental services, Zoe's healthcare specialist provided detailed benefit explanations and enrollment procedures that seemed to be official government programs designed to help seniors access better healthcare coverage. The Medicare representative explained that new government programs were providing enhanced benefits to qualified seniors, and that I needed to update my information to avoid losing coverage. Andrew recalled about the healthcare enrollment calls that requested detailed personal and financial information. She provided Medicare numbers and benefit details that proved the program was legitimate and would provide the additional coverage I needed for medical expenses not covered by standard Medicare. However, Andrew discovered that Zoe had been creating fictitious Medicare programs and benefit enhancements while collecting personal information for identity theft and charging enrollment fees for healthcare coverage that didn't exist or provide any legitimate medical benefits. The operation involved fake government websites, fraudulent Medicare documentation, and sophisticated identity theft schemes designed to exploit seniors' confusion about complex healthcare programs while stealing personal information and charging fees for worthless medical coverage. Investigation revealed that Zoe's Medicare scam operation had stolen personal information from over 1,500 seniors while collecting approximately $800,000 in enrollment fees for fake healthcare programs that provided no legitimate medical benefits or Medicare coverage enhancements. Our 10th story occurs in Tampa, where debt relief scammer Beauregard operated a fraudulent financial services company that contacted people with credit problems, offering immediate debt elimination and credit repair services through exclusive legal programs. He had been running debt relief scams for 7 years and developed convincing financial presentations that combined legitimate credit repair terminology with fabricated legal procedures designed to attract victims struggling with debt problems and poor credit scores. His operation used official-sounding legal company names, fake attorney documentation, and sophisticated debt analysis procedures that seemed to provide legitimate financial assistance while actually collecting upfront fees for services that were never performed or provided no actual debt relief. When struggling small business owner Cordelia received calls offering immediate elimination of her credit card debt through legal loopholes, Beauregard's debt specialist provided detailed analysis of her financial situation and legal strategies that seemed to justify the substantial debt elimination being promised. The debt relief specialist explained that new legal precedents were allowing qualified debtors to eliminate unsecured debt through constitutional challenges and that my situation qualified for immediate debt forgiveness. Cordelia explained about the debt elimination consultation that promised to resolve her financial problems within 60 days. He provided legal case numbers and attorney credentials that proved the debt elimination program was legitimate and would provide the financial relief I desperately needed. But Cordelia learned that Beauregard had been creating fictitious legal programs and debt elimination procedures while collecting upfront fees for services that weren't performed and legal strategies that didn't exist or provide any legitimate debt relief or credit improvement. The operation involved fake legal documentation, fraudulent attorney credentials, and sophisticated financial analysis designed to convince victims that their debt problems could be resolved through exclusive legal programs that were actually criminal schemes designed to collect fees without providing any legitimate financial services. Investigation uncovered that Beauregard's debt relief scam operation had collected over $1 million from more than 700 victims who paid upfront fees believing their debts would be eliminated but received no legitimate debt relief, services, or financial assistance from the fraudulent debt elimination programs. Our 11th story unfolds in San Diego, where auto warranty scammer Evangeline managed a fraudulent extended warranty operation that contacted vehicle owners with calls offering comprehensive coverage for automotive repairs through exclusive warranty programs. She had been running auto warranty scams for 5 years and developed convincing automotive presentations that combined legitimate warranty terminology with fabricated coverage benefits designed to attract vehicle owners concerned about expensive automotive repairs and maintenance costs. Her operation used sophisticated vehicle databases, official-sounding warranty company names, and detailed coverage documentation that seemed to provide comprehensive automotive protection while actually collecting premium payments for worthless warranty coverage that provided no actual repair benefits. When concerned car owner Horatio received calls offering extended warranty coverage for his aging vehicle, Evangeline's warranty specialist provided detailed coverage information including engine, transmission, and electrical system protection that seemed essential for preventing expensive automotive repairs. The warranty representative explained that my vehicle manufacturer was offering extended coverage to qualified owners, and that I needed to enroll immediately to avoid losing eligibility for comprehensive automotive protection. Horatio recalled about the warranty enrollment calls that emphasized urgent deadline requirements. She provided vehicle identification numbers and coverage details that proved the warranty program was legitimate and would protect me from expensive automotive repairs that weren't covered by standard manufacturer warranties. However, Horatio discovered that Evangeline had been creating fictitious warranty companies and coverage programs while collecting premium payments for automotive protection that didn't exist or provide any legitimate repair coverage when vehicle owners attempted to use their supposed warranty benefits for automotive service. The operation involved fake warranty websites, fraudulent coverage documentation, and sophisticated payment processing systems designed to collect monthly premiums while providing no legitimate automotive coverage or repair benefits. Investigation revealed that Evangeline's auto warranty scam operation had collected over $900,000 from more than 1,100 vehicle owners who paid premiums believing they had purchased legitimate extended warranty coverage but received no automotive protection when they attempted to use their policies for vehicle repairs and maintenance services. Our 12th story brings us to Portland, where home security scammer Lysander operated a fraudulent alarm system company that contacted homeowners with calls offering free security consultations and discounted alarm systems through exclusive neighborhood safety programs. He had been running home security scams for 9 years and developed convincing safety presentations that combine legitimate security terminology with fabricated crime statistics designed to frighten homeowners into purchasing expensive alarm systems and monitoring services that provided minimal actual security benefits. His operation used sophisticated neighborhood databases, official-sounding security company names, and detailed crime analysis that seemed to justify the urgent need for professional home security systems while actually selling overpriced equipment and services through high-pressure sales tactics. When safety-conscious homeowner Prudence received calls offering free security evaluations following neighborhood break-ins, Lysander's security specialist provided detailed crime statistics and vulnerability assessments that seemed to prove her home was at significant risk for burglary and invasion. The security consultant explained that recent break-ins in my neighborhood had targeted homes without professional alarm systems and that I qualified for discounted security equipment through a neighborhood safety program. Prudence explained about the home security consultation that included detailed safety analysis and equipment recommendations. He provided crime reports and security assessments that proved my home was vulnerable and needed immediate protection through professional alarm systems and monitoring services. But Prudence learned that Lysander had been exaggerating crime statistics and security risks while selling overpriced alarm equipment that provided minimal security benefits compared to traditional home security options available at much lower costs through legitimate security companies. The operation involved fabricated crime data, high-pressure sales tactics, and expensive long-term monitoring contracts that provided poor security value while generating substantial profits through overpriced equipment sales and monthly monitoring fees. Investigation uncovered that Lysander's home security scam operation had collected over $1.5 million from more than 800 homeowners who purchased expensive alarm systems believing they were getting professional security protection but received overpriced equipment that provided minimal security benefits compared to legitimate home security alternatives available at much lower costs. Our 13th story takes place in Chicago, where credit card scammer Quincy managed a fraudulent financial services operation that contacted consumers with poor credit offering guaranteed approval credit cards and immediate credit limit increases through exclusive financial programs. He had been running credit card scams for 6 years and developed convincing financial presentations that combine legitimate credit terminology with fabricated approval guarantees designed to attract victims with credit problems seeking access to additional credit and financial services. His operation used official-sounding bank names, fake credit documentation, and sophisticated approval procedures that seemed to provide guaranteed credit access while actually collecting processing fees and personal information for identity theft without providing any legitimate credit cards or financial services. When credit-damaged construction worker Reginald received calls offering guaranteed approval for a $5,000 credit card regardless of credit history, Quincy's financial specialist provided detailed application procedures and approval guarantees that seemed too good to be true but were presented as legitimate financial opportunities. The credit specialist explained that new banking regulations were requiring banks to provide credit access to previously denied applicants and that I qualified for guaranteed approval through special financial programs. Reginald recalled about the credit card application process that required upfront processing fees to secure guaranteed approval. He provided bank routing numbers and approval procedures that proved the credit card program was legitimate and would provide the financial access I needed for emergency expenses. However, Reginald discovered that Quincy had been creating fictitious credit card programs and approval guarantees while collecting processing fees and personal information for identity theft without providing any legitimate credit cards or financial services to victims who paid fees believing they would receive guaranteed credit access. The operation involved fake banking websites, fraudulent credit documentation, and sophisticated identity theft schemes designed to collect fees and personal information while providing no legitimate credit cards or financial services. Investigation revealed that Quincy's credit card scam operation had collected over $600,000 in processing fees while stealing personal information from more than 900 victims who paid fees believing they would receive guaranteed credit approval but received no legitimate credit cards or financial services from the fraudulent credit programs. Our 14th story occurs in Las Vegas, where timeshare resale scammer Samantha operated a fraudulent real estate company that contacted timeshare owners with calls offering immediate sales of their vacation properties through exclusive buyer networks and real estate programs. She had been running timeshare resale scams for 4 years and developed convincing real estate presentations that combined legitimate property terminology with fabricated buyer demand designed to extract upfront fees from desperate timeshare owners seeking to escape expensive vacation property obligations. Her operation used sophisticated property databases, official-sounding real estate company names, and detailed sales procedures that seemed to provide legitimate property sales services while actually collecting listing fees and marketing costs for real estate services that were never performed or provided no actual property sales results. When frustrated timeshare owner Sterling received calls claiming there was immediate buyer demand for his vacation property, Samantha's real estate specialist provided detailed market analysis and buyer information that seemed to justify the urgent sales opportunity being offered. The real estate agent explained that international buyers were seeking vacation properties in my resort location and that she had qualified buyers ready to purchase immediately at above-market prices. Sterling explained about the timeshare resale consultation that promised quick sale and substantial profit from his vacation property investment. She provided buyer credentials and market analysis that proved the sales opportunity was legitimate and would provide the financial relief I needed from expensive timeshare maintenance fees and obligations. But Sterling learned that Samantha had been creating fictitious buyer networks and sales opportunities while collecting upfront fees for real estate services that weren't performed and property sales that never materialized despite promises of immediate buyer interest and guaranteed sales results. The operation involved fake real estate websites, fraudulent buyer documentation, and sophisticated marketing schemes designed to collect listing fees and marketing costs while providing no legitimate real estate services or actual property sales. Investigation uncovered that Samantha's timeshare resale scam operation had collected over $800,000 from more than 600 timeshare owners who paid upfront fees believing their vacation properties would be sold quickly but received no legitimate real estate services or actual property sales from the fraudulent resale programs. Our 15th story unfolds in Miami, where business loan scammer Stephanie operated a fraudulent lending company that contacted small business owners with calls offering immediate funding and guaranteed loan approval through exclusive lending programs and government assistance initiatives. She had been running business loan scams for 8 years and developed convincing financial presentations that combined legitimate lending terminology with fabricated approval guarantees designed to attract struggling business owners seeking access to working capital and expansion funding. Her operation used official-sounding lending company names, fake government program documentation, and sophisticated approval procedures that seemed to provide guaranteed business funding while actually collecting application fees and personal information without providing any legitimate loans or financial assistance. When struggling restaurant owner Thaddeus received calls offering immediate approval for a $50,000 business loan with no credit requirements, Stephanie's lending specialist provided detailed application procedures and funding guarantees that seemed to be legitimate government assistance programs designed to help small businesses during economic difficulties. The loan officer explained that emergency business funding was available through new government programs and that I qualified for immediate approval based on my business revenue and employment numbers. Thaddeus recalled about the business loan application process that required upfront processing fees to secure guaranteed funding approval. She provided government program numbers and lending procedures that proved the loan program was legitimate and would provide the working capital I desperately needed to keep my restaurant operating. However, Thaddeus discovered that Stephanie had been creating fictitious lending programs and approval guarantees while collecting application fees and personal information without providing any legitimate business loans or financial assistance to business owners who paid fees believing they would receive guaranteed funding access. The operation involved fake lending websites, fraudulent government documentation, and sophisticated identity theft schemes designed to collect fees and business information while providing no legitimate loans or financial services. Investigation revealed that Stephanie's business loan scam operation had collected over $1.5 million in application fees while stealing business information from more than 400 small business owners who paid fees believing they would receive guaranteed loan approval but received no legitimate business funding or financial assistance from the fraudulent lending programs. Our 16th story brings us to Seattle, where Social Security scammer Tyler managed a fraudulent government benefits operation that contacted senior citizens with calls claiming their Social Security benefits had been suspended due to suspicious activity requiring immediate verification and account restoration. He had been running Social Security scams for 7 years and developed urgent benefit suspension scripts that combined legitimate Social Security terminology with fabricated security threats designed to frighten seniors into providing personal information and making payments to restore their suspended benefits. His operation used caller ID spoofing to make calls appear to come from government agencies, and his team was trained to use authentic Social Security numbers and benefit information that made suspension threats seem credible and legally binding. When retired postal worker Vanessa received calls claiming her Social Security benefits had been frozen due to identity theft, Tyler's benefits specialist provided detailed account information and restoration procedures that seemed to verify the legitimacy of the benefit suspension and the urgent need for immediate action. The Social Security representative knew my benefit amount and payment dates, and he explained that criminals had been using my Social Security number for illegal activities that required immediate account verification. Vanessa explained about the benefit restoration calls that demanded personal information and verification payments. He said that my benefits would be permanently canceled unless I provided immediate verification through prepaid cards or wire transfer to prove my identity and restore my account status. But Vanessa learned that Tyler had been obtaining Social Security information through data theft and using it to create convincing benefit suspension threats while demanding payments and personal information that legitimate Social Security administration never requires through unsolicited phone calls or emergency procedures. The operation involved sophisticated data collection, authentic-sounding government terminology, and urgent payment demands designed to prevent victims from verifying the legitimacy of benefit suspension notices through official Social Security Administration channels. Investigation uncovered that Tyler's Social Security scam operation had collected over $700,000 while stealing personal information from more than 1,200 seniors who made verification payments and provided personal information believing their benefits were suspended but were actually being targeted by criminals with no connection to any legitimate government agency or Social Security program. Our 17th story takes place in Phoenix, where pharmacy scammer Wayne operated a fraudulent prescription drug operation that contacted patients with chronic medical conditions offering discounted medications and prescription assistance through exclusive pharmaceutical programs and patient advocacy services. He had been running prescription drug scams for 5 years and developed convincing medical presentations that combined legitimate pharmaceutical terminology with fabricated discount programs designed to attract patients struggling with expensive medication costs and insurance coverage limitations. His operation used sophisticated patient databases, official-sounding pharmacy names, and detailed medication information that seemed to provide legitimate prescription assistance while actually collecting payment for medications that were never delivered or were counterfeit drugs that provided inadequate medical treatment. When diabetic retiree Wilhelmina received calls offering substantial discounts on her expensive insulin prescriptions through patient assistance programs, Wayne's pharmacy specialist provided detailed medication information and discount procedures that seemed to be legitimate pharmaceutical assistance designed to help patients afford necessary medical treatment. The pharmacy representative explained that pharmaceutical companies were providing medication assistance to qualified patients and that I could receive significant savings on my prescription costs through special patient advocacy programs. Wilhelmina recalled about the prescription assistance calls that promised substantial medication savings. He provided medication codes and discount procedures that proved the assistance program was legitimate and would help me afford the medications I needed for my medical condition. However, Wilhelmina discovered that Wayne had been creating fictitious pharmacy programs and medication assistance while collecting payments for prescription drugs that were never delivered or were counterfeit medications that didn't provide adequate medical treatment for serious health conditions. The operation involved fake pharmacy websites, fraudulent medication documentation, and sophisticated payment processing systems designed to collect medication payments while providing no legitimate prescription drugs or medical assistance. Investigation revealed that Wayne's prescription drug scam operation had collected over $900,000 from more than 800 patients who paid for medications believing they were receiving legitimate prescription assistance, but received no medications or counterfeit drugs that provided inadequate medical treatment for their health conditions. Our 18th story occurs in Denver, where travel scammer Zoe managed a fraudulent vacation company that contacted potential travelers with calls offering exclusive travel packages and resort accommodations at substantially discounted prices through limited-time promotional offers and vacation club memberships. She had been running travel scams for 6 years and developed convincing vacation presentations that combine legitimate travel terminology with fabricated resort partnerships designed to attract travelers seeking affordable vacation opportunities and luxury accommodations at discount prices. Her operation used sophisticated travel databases, official-sounding resort names, and detailed vacation packages that seemed to provide exceptional travel value while actually collecting payment for travel arrangements that were never provided or were significantly different from the vacation experiences being promised. When vacation-seeking couple Andrew and Dahlia received calls offering luxury Caribbean resort packages at 70% below normal prices, Zoe's travel specialist provided detailed resort information and booking procedures that seemed to be legitimate promotional offers designed to fill resort vacancies during off-peak travel periods. The travel agent explained that resort partnerships were providing exclusive vacation packages to qualified travelers and that we had been selected for limited-time promotional pricing on luxury accommodations. Andrew explained about the vacation booking process that required immediate payment to secure promotional pricing. She provided resort codes and booking procedures that proved the vacation package was legitimate and would provide the luxury Caribbean experience we wanted at prices we could afford. But Andrew learned that Zoe had been creating fictitious resort partnerships and vacation packages while collecting payments for travel arrangements that weren't provided or were significantly inferior to the luxury accommodations and vacation experiences being promised during sales presentations. The operation involved fake travel websites, fraudulent resort documentation, and sophisticated booking schemes designed to collect vacation payments while providing no legitimate travel services or actual vacation accommodations. Investigation uncovered that Zoe's travel scam operation had collected over $1.5 million from more than 900 travelers who paid for vacation packages believing they were receiving legitimate travel arrangements but received no vacations or travel experiences that were significantly different from the luxury accommodations and resort experiences being promised through the fraudulent vacation programs. Our 19th story unfolds in Tampa, where employment scammer Beauregard operated a fraudulent job placement company that contacted job seekers with calls offering guaranteed employment and high-paying positions through exclusive recruitment programs and employer partnerships. He had been running employment scams for 9 years and developed convincing job placement presentations that combine legitimate employment terminology with fabricated job opportunities designed to extract placement fees and personal information from desperate job seekers struggling with unemployment and financial difficulties. His operation used sophisticated job databases, official-sounding recruitment company names, and detailed employment procedures that seemed to provide guaranteed job placement while actually collecting fees and personal information without providing any legitimate employment opportunities or job placement services. When unemployed factory worker Cordelia received calls offering immediate placement in high-paying manufacturing positions, Beauregard's recruitment specialist provided detailed job descriptions and placement procedures that seemed to be legitimate employment opportunities designed to match qualified workers with available positions. The job placement specialist explained that manufacturing companies were seeking qualified workers and that I had been selected for immediate employment based on my experience and qualifications. Cordelia recalled about the job placement consultation that promised immediate employment and substantial salary increases. He provided company names and employment procedures that proved the job opportunities were legitimate and would provide the financial stability I desperately needed during unemployment. However, Cordelia discovered that Beauregard had been creating fictitious job opportunities and employment programs while collecting placement fees and personal information without providing any legitimate employment opportunities or job placement services to job seekers who paid fees believing they would receive guaranteed employment. The operation involved fake employment websites, fraudulent company documentation, and sophisticated identity theft schemes designed to collect fees and personal information while providing no legitimate job opportunities or employment services. Investigation revealed that Beauregard's employment scam operation had collected over $800,000 in placement fees while stealing personal information from more than 700 job seekers who paid fees believing they would receive guaranteed employment but received no legitimate job opportunities or placement services from the fraudulent recruitment programs. Our 20th story brings us to Las Vegas, where payday loan scammer Evangeline operated a fraudulent lending operation that contacted consumers with poor credit offering immediate cash advances and guaranteed loan approval through exclusive lending programs and emergency assistance services. She had been running payday loan scams for 4 years and developed convincing financial presentations that combined legitimate lending terminology with fabricated approval guarantees designed to attract financially desperate consumers seeking access to emergency funding and quick cash solutions. Her operation used official-sounding lending company names, fake loan documentation, and sophisticated approval procedures that seemed to provide guaranteed cash access, while actually collecting application fees and personal information without providing any legitimate loans or financial assistance. When financially struggling, single mother Horatio received calls offering immediate approval for a $2,000 cash advance with no credit check requirements. Evangeline's loan specialist provided detailed application procedures and funding guarantees that seemed to be legitimate emergency lending programs designed to help consumers during financial crises. The loan officer explained that emergency funding was available through special lending programs and that I qualified for immediate approval based on my employment status and income verification. Horatio explained about the loan application process that required upfront processing fees to secure guaranteed funding approval. She provided lending codes and approval procedures that proved the loan program was legitimate and would provide the emergency cash I needed for unexpected expenses. But Horatio learned that Evangeline had been creating fictitious lending programs and approval guarantees while collecting application fees and personal information without providing any legitimate payday loans or financial assistance to consumers who paid fees believing they would receive guaranteed cash advances. Investigation revealed that Evangeline's payday loan scam operation had collected over $600,000 in application fees, while stealing personal information from more than 500 consumers who paid fees believing they would receive guaranteed loan approval but received no legitimate cash advances or financial assistance from the fraudulent lending programs. Our 21st story takes place in Chicago, where fake police charity scammer Lysander operated a fraudulent fundraising operation that contacted citizens with calls requesting donations for police officer benefits and law enforcement support programs using high-pressure tactics and official-sounding organization names. He had been running police charity scams for 7 years and developed convincing fundraising presentations that combined legitimate law enforcement terminology with fabricated officer assistance programs designed to extract donations from citizens who wanted to support police officers and law enforcement activities in their communities. His operation used sophisticated calling systems, official-sounding charity names, and detailed officer stories that seemed to provide legitimate police assistance while actually keeping virtually all donated funds for criminal operations instead of providing any support to actual law enforcement officers or their families. When community-minded business owner Prudence received calls requesting donations for injured police officer medical expenses, Lysander's fundraiser provided detailed stories about specific officers who needed immediate financial assistance for medical treatment and family support during recovery periods. The police charity representative described heartbreaking cases of officers who had been injured in the line of duty and needed donations for medical equipment and family assistance that wasn't covered by department benefits. Prudence recalled about the emotional fundraising calls that continued for several months with updates about officer recovery progress. He provided badge numbers and injury details that made the officer's situation seem real and urgent, and he explained that citizen donations were essential for providing the support these heroes needed during their most difficult times. However, Prudence discovered that Lysander had been creating entirely fictional police charity organizations and officer stories, while keeping virtually all donated funds for personal use instead of providing any assistance to actual law enforcement officers or their families during legitimate times of need. Investigation uncovered that Lysander's fake police charity operation had collected over $900,000 from more than 1,800 donors who believed they were supporting injured police officers, but were actually funding criminal operations that provided no legitimate assistance to law enforcement personnel or their families. Our 22nd story occurs in Miami, where fake court scammer Quincy operated a fraudulent legal operation that contacted citizens with calls claiming they had outstanding court fines or missed jury duty obligations requiring immediate payment to avoid arrest and legal prosecution. He had been running fake court scams for 8 years and developed urgent legal threat scripts that combined authentic court terminology with fabricated legal proceedings designed to frighten victims into making immediate payments through untraceable methods to resolve supposed legal violations. His operation used caller ID spoofing to make calls appear to come from court systems, and his team was trained to use realistic case numbers and legal procedures that made arrest threats seem credible and legally binding to victims unfamiliar with actual court processes. When law-abiding citizen Reginald received calls claiming he had failed to appear for mandatory jury duty and faced immediate arrest, Quincy's court representative provided detailed case information and fine amounts that seemed to verify the legitimacy of the legal violation and the urgent need for immediate payment. The court officer knew my personal information and explained that I had been summoned for jury duty, but failed to appear, resulting in contempt of court charges that required immediate fine payment to avoid arrest. Reginald explained about the legal threat calls that demanded instant payment through prepaid cards to resolve the supposed court violation. He provided case numbers and court procedures that proved the legal charges were legitimate and that immediate payment was necessary to avoid having a warrant issued for my arrest. But Reginald learned that Quincy had been obtaining personal information through data theft and using it to create convincing legal threats while demanding payments through methods that legitimate court systems never require for fine payment or legal resolution procedures. Investigation revealed that Quincy's fake court scam operation had collected over $750,000 from more than 800 victims who made emergency payments believing they faced arrest for legal violations but were actually paying. Criminals who had no connection to any legitimate court system or legal authority. Our 23rd story unfolds in Phoenix, where fake government grant scammer Samantha operated a fraudulent federal assistance operation that contacted citizens with calls offering free government grants and financial assistance through exclusive programs designed to help individuals and families during economic difficulties. She had been running government grant scams for 6 years and developed convincing government assistance presentations that combine legitimate federal program terminology with fabricated grant opportunities designed to extract processing fees from victims seeking financial assistance during challenging economic periods. Her operation used official-sounding government agency names, fake federal documentation, and detailed grant procedures that seemed to provide legitimate government assistance while actually collecting processing fees without providing any actual grants or federal financial assistance. When financially struggling teacher Sterling received calls offering immediate approval for a $15,000 government grant to help with educational expenses, Samantha's federal assistance specialist provided detailed grant information and application procedures that seemed to be legitimate government programs designed to support educators and public service workers. The government grant specialist explained that federal education grants were available to qualified teachers and that I had been pre-approved for substantial financial assistance based on my employment status and service record. Sterling recalled about the grant application process that required processing fees to secure federal funding approval. She provided federal program numbers and grant procedures that proved the assistance program was legitimate and would provide the financial support I needed for continuing education and professional development. However, Sterling discovered that Samantha had been creating fictitious government grant programs while collecting processing fees without providing any legitimate federal grants or government financial assistance to victims who paid fees believing they would receive approved government funding. Investigation uncovered that Samantha's government grant scam operation had collected over $1 million in processing fees from more than 900 victims who paid fees believing they would receive legitimate government grants, but received no actual federal assistance or government funding from the fraudulent grant programs. Our 24th story brings us to Seattle, where fake bank security scammer Stephanie operated a fraudulent financial security operation that contacted bank customers with calls claiming their accounts had been compromised and required immediate verification to prevent unauthorized transactions and account closure. She had been running bank security scams for 5 years and developed urgent account security scripts that combine legitimate banking terminology with fabricated security threats designed to frighten customers into providing account information and verification codes that criminals used for actual unauthorized account access. Her operation used caller ID spoofing to make calls appear to come from legitimate banks, and her team was trained to use authentic account information and security procedures that made fraud alerts seem credible and required immediate customer response. When concerned bank customer Thaddeus received calls claiming his account showed suspicious activity and required immediate verification, Stephanie's security specialist provided detailed transaction information and verification procedures that seemed to verify the legitimacy of the security alert and the urgent need for account protection. The bank security officer knew my account balance and recent transactions, and she explained that fraudulent charges were being attempted on my account but could be prevented through immediate verification procedures. Thaddeus explained about the account security calls that requested personal information and verification codes to protect his banking accounts. She provided security codes and verification procedures that proved the fraud alert was legitimate and that immediate action was necessary to prevent unauthorized access to my accounts and financial information. But Thaddeus learned that Stephanie had been obtaining banking information through data theft and using it to create convincing security threats while requesting account information and verification codes that criminals used for actual unauthorized account access and financial theft. Investigation revealed that Stephanie's bank security scam operation had stolen over $2 million from more than 600 banking customers who provided account information believing they were protecting their accounts, but were actually giving criminals access to their financial accounts and personal banking information. Our 25th story takes place in Denver, where fake computer virus scammer Tyler operated a fraudulent technology security operation that contacted computer users with calls claiming their devices were infected with dangerous malware and required immediate professional removal to prevent data theft and system damage. He had been running computer virus scams for 9 years and developed urgent security threat scripts that combine legitimate computer terminology with fabricated virus infections designed to frighten users into purchasing expensive removal services and security software that provided no actual computer protection. His operation used sophisticated technical presentations and remote access demonstrations that seemed to prove the existence of serious computer infections while actually installing temporary files and fake error messages to justify expensive security services. When concerned computer user Vanessa received calls claiming her device was broadcasting malware and compromising her personal information, Tyler's security technician provided detailed infection information and removal procedures that seemed to verify the legitimacy of the security threat and the urgent need for professional intervention. The computer security expert showed me virus infections and suspicious files on my computer that proved it was severely compromised and needed immediate professional cleaning to prevent identity theft. Vanessa recalled about the computer security session that demonstrated various security threats and infection symptoms. He explained that my personal information was being stolen and that immediate action was required to remove the infections and protect my data from cyber criminals who were accessing my computer remotely. However, Vanessa discovered that Tyler had been creating fake computer infections and security demonstrations while selling expensive removal services that weren't necessary and sometimes installing actual malware to justify future service calls and ongoing security payments. Investigation uncovered that Tyler's computer virus scam operation had collected over $1.5 million from more than 1,200 computer users who purchased unnecessary security services believing their devices were infected, but were actually being manipulated by criminals who created fake security threats to generate revenue from fraudulent computer repair services. Our 26th story occurs in Las Vegas, where fake accident lawyer scammer Wayne operated a fraudulent legal services operation that contacted accident victims with calls offering immediate legal representation and guaranteed settlements through exclusive legal programs and personal injury expertise. He had been running accident lawyer scams for 7 years and developed convincing legal presentations that combined legitimate personal injury terminology with fabricated settlement guarantees designed to attract accident victims seeking legal representation and financial compensation for their injuries and damages. His operation used sophisticated accident databases, official-sounding law firm names, and detailed legal procedures that seemed to provide legitimate legal representation while actually collecting retainer fees and personal information without providing any actual legal services or settlement assistance. When car accident victim Wilhelmina received calls offering immediate legal representation and guaranteed settlement recovery, Wayne's legal specialist provided detailed case analysis and settlement procedures that seemed to be legitimate legal services designed to help accident victims recover compensation for their injuries and vehicle damage. The personal injury attorney explained that I had a strong legal case and qualified for substantial settlement recovery based on the accident circumstances and injury documentation. Wilhelmina explained about the legal consultation that promised significant financial compensation through professional legal representation. He provided case precedents and settlement procedures that proved the legal representation was legitimate and would provide the compensation I deserved for my accident injuries and financial losses. But Wilhelmina learned that Wayne had been creating fictitious law firms and settlement guarantees while collecting retainer fees without providing any legitimate legal representation or settlement assistance to accident victims who paid fees believing they would receive professional legal services. Investigation revealed that Wayne's accident lawyer scam operation had collected over $800,000 in retainer fees from more than 400 accident victims who paid for legal representation believing they would receive legitimate legal services but received no actual legal assistance or settlement recovery from the fraudulent legal programs. Our 27th story unfolds in Tampa, where fake student loan forgiveness scammer Zoe operated a fraudulent educational services operation that contacted student loan borrowers with calls offering immediate loan forgiveness and debt elimination through exclusive government programs and educational assistance initiatives. She had been running student loan scams for 6 years and developed convincing debt relief presentations that combined legitimate federal loan terminology with fabricated forgiveness programs designed to extract processing fees from borrowers struggling with educational debt and loan repayment obligations. Her operation used official-sounding government agency names, fake federal documentation, and detailed forgiveness procedures that seemed to provide legitimate loan elimination while actually collecting fees without providing any actual debt relief or loan forgiveness services. When overwhelmed graduate student Archibald received calls offering complete elimination of his $40,000 student loan debt through new government forgiveness programs, Zoe's loan specialist provided detailed forgiveness information and application procedures that seemed to be legitimate federal assistance designed to help struggling borrowers eliminate educational debt. The student loan forgiveness specialist explained that new government programs were providing complete debt elimination to qualified borrowers, and that I had been pre-approved for full loan forgiveness based on my employment status and payment history. Archibald recalled about the loan forgiveness process that required processing fees to secure federal debt elimination approval. She provided federal program numbers and forgiveness procedures that proved the assistance program was legitimate and would eliminate my entire student loan debt without further payments or obligations. However, Archibald discovered that Zoe had been creating fictitious loan forgiveness programs while collecting processing fees without providing any legitimate student loan forgiveness or debt elimination services to borrowers who paid fees believing their educational debts would be eliminated through government programs. Investigation uncovered that Zoe's student loan forgiveness scam operation had collected over $1.5 million in processing fees from more than 1,100 borrowers who paid fees believing they would receive legitimate loan forgiveness but continued owing their original student loan debts while losing additional money to fraudulent debt elimination programs. Our 28th story brings us to Chicago, where fake energy savings scammer Beauregard operated a fraudulent utility assistance operation that contacted homeowners with calls offering substantial reductions in monthly energy bills through exclusive government programs and utility assistance initiatives. He had been running energy savings scams for 8 years and developed convincing utility assistance presentations that combine legitimate energy program terminology with fabricated savings opportunities designed to extract enrollment fees from homeowners seeking to reduce their monthly utility expenses and energy costs. His operation used official-sounding government agency names, fake utility documentation, and detailed savings procedures that seemed to provide legitimate energy assistance while actually collecting fees without providing any actual utility savings or energy bill reductions. When budget-conscious homeowner Cordelia received calls offering 60% reductions in her monthly electricity bills through government energy assistance programs, Beauregard's energy specialist provided detailed savings information and enrollment procedures that seemed to be legitimate federal programs designed to help homeowners reduce their utility expenses. The energy assistance specialist explained that government programs were providing substantial utility savings to qualified homeowners and that I had been selected for enrollment based on my energy usage and income qualifications. Cordelia explained about the energy savings process that required enrollment fees to secure government utility assistance approval. She provided program numbers and savings procedures that proved the assistance program was legitimate and would significantly reduce my monthly energy bills through federal utility assistance. However, Cordelia discovered that Beauregard had been creating fictitious energy assistance programs while collecting enrollment fees without providing any legitimate utility savings or energy bill reductions to homeowners who paid fees believing they would receive government assistance with their monthly energy expenses. Investigation revealed that Beauregard's energy savings scam operation had collected over $900,000 in enrollment fees from more than 700 homeowners who paid fees believing they would receive legitimate utility assistance but continued paying their original energy bills while losing additional money to fraudulent energy savings programs. Our 29th story takes place in Phoenix, where fake credit repair scammer Evangeline operated a fraudulent financial services operation that contacted consumers with poor credit offering guaranteed credit score improvements and immediate credit repair through exclusive legal programs and credit restoration services. She had been running credit repair scams for 9 years and developed convincing credit improvement presentations that combine legitimate credit terminology with fabricated repair guarantees designed to extract upfront fees from consumers struggling with poor credit scores and limited access to financial services. Her operation used official-sounding credit repair company names, fake legal documentation, and detailed credit improvement procedures that seemed to provide guaranteed credit restoration while actually collecting fees without providing any legitimate credit repair services or credit score improvements. When credit-damaged retail worker Horatio received calls offering guaranteed improvement of his credit score from 400 to 700 within 60 days, Evangeline's credit specialist provided detailed repair information and improvement procedures that seemed to be legitimate credit restoration services designed to help consumers repair their damaged credit histories. The credit repair specialist explained that legal credit restoration methods were available to qualified consumers and that I had been approved for guaranteed credit improvement based on my credit report analysis and repair potential. Horatio recalled about the credit repair process that required upfront fees to secure guaranteed credit score improvements. She provided legal procedures and credit improvement guarantees that proved the repair service was legitimate and would significantly improve my credit score and financial opportunities. But Horatio learned that Evangeline had been creating fictitious credit repair programs while collecting upfront fees without providing any legitimate credit improvement services or credit score enhancements to consumers who paid fees believing they would receive guaranteed credit restoration. Investigation uncovered that Evangeline's credit repair scam operation had collected over $1.5 million in upfront fees from more than 1,300 consumers who paid for credit repair services believing they would receive legitimate credit improvements but experienced no actual credit score enhancements while losing money to fraudulent credit restoration programs. Our 30th story occurs in Miami, where fake immigration services scammer Lysander operated a fraudulent legal assistance operation that contacted immigrants with calls offering guaranteed visa approvals and citizenship assistance through exclusive legal programs and immigration expertise. He had been running immigration scams for 10 years and developed convincing legal presentations that combined legitimate immigration terminology with fabricated approval guarantees designed to extract legal fees from immigrants seeking visa, assistance, and citizenship services. His operation used official-sounding legal company names, fake immigration documentation, and detailed legal procedures that seemed to provide legitimate immigration assistance while actually collecting fees without providing any actual legal services or immigration benefits. When visa applicant Prudence received calls offering guaranteed approval for her family's permanent residence applications, Lysander's immigration specialist provided detailed legal information and approval procedures that seemed to be legitimate legal services designed to help immigrants navigate complex immigration processes. The immigration attorney explained that new legal strategies were available for qualified applicants and that my family had been approved for expedited processing based on our application status and legal qualifications. Prudence explained about the immigration assistance process that required legal fees to secure guaranteed visa approvals. He provided legal case numbers and approval procedures that proved the legal services were legitimate and would provide the immigration assistance my family desperately needed. However, Prudence discovered that Lysander had been creating fictitious immigration programs while collecting legal fees without providing any legitimate immigration services or visa assistance to immigrants who paid fees believing they would receive guaranteed legal representation and immigration benefits. Investigation revealed that Lysander's immigration scam operation had collected over $2 million in legal fees from more than 800 immigrant families who paid for immigration services believing they would receive legitimate legal assistance, but received no actual immigration benefits, while losing money to fraudulent legal programs that provided no legitimate immigration services or visa assistance. Our 31st story unfolds in Seattle, where fake home improvement scammer Quincy operated a fraudulent contracting operation that contacted homeowners with calls offering immediate repairs and home improvements through exclusive contractor programs and emergency repair services. He had been running home improvement scams for 7 years and developed urgent repair presentations that combined legitimate construction terminology with fabricated damage assessments designed to extract deposit payments from homeowners concerned about property maintenance and home safety issues. His operation used sophisticated damage analysis, official-sounding contractor company names, and detailed repair procedures that seemed to provide legitimate home improvement services while actually collecting deposits without performing any actual construction work or home repairs. When concerned homeowner Reginald received calls claiming his roof showed signs of storm damage requiring immediate repair to prevent water damage, Quincy's contractor provided detailed damage assessment and repair procedures that seemed to verify the urgency of the home improvement needs. The roofing contractor explained that storm damage was visible from street level and that immediate repairs were necessary to prevent expensive water damage and structural problems. Reginald recalled about the home improvement consultation that emphasized urgent repair deadlines and weather-related damage risks. He provided damage documentation and repair procedures that proved the construction work was necessary and would protect my home from expensive damage that would result from delayed repairs. But Reginald learned that Quincy had been creating fictitious damage assessments while collecting deposit payments without performing any legitimate construction work or home improvements for homeowners who paid deposits believing they would receive necessary repair services. Investigation uncovered that Quincy's home improvement scam operation had collected over $1.5 million in deposits from more than 600 homeowners who paid for construction services believing they would receive legitimate home repairs, but received no actual construction work while losing money to fraudulent contracting programs. Our 30-second story brings us to Denver, where fake debt collection scammer Samantha operated a fraudulent collection agency that contacted consumers with calls claiming they owed money on old debts and faced legal action requiring immediate payment to avoid court proceedings and wage garnishment. She had been running debt collection scams for 8 years and developed threatening collection scripts that combined legitimate debt terminology with fabricated legal proceedings designed to frighten consumers into making payments on debts they didn't owe or had already resolved through legitimate channels. Her operation used sophisticated debtor databases, official-sounding collection agency names, and detailed legal threat procedures that seemed to provide legitimate debt collection while actually collecting payments on invalid debts or debts that had been previously resolved. When confused consumers, Sterling received calls claiming he owed $3,000 on a credit card debt from 5 years earlier. Samantha's collector provided detailed account information and legal threat procedures that seemed to verify the legitimacy of the debt obligation and the urgent need for immediate payment. The debt collector knew my personal information and claimed to have complete account records proving that I owed money on an old credit card that had gone into collections. Sterling explained about the debt collection calls that threatened legal action and wage garnishment if immediate payment wasn't arranged. She provided account numbers and legal procedures that proved the debt was legitimate and that court action would be taken if I didn't resolve the obligation through immediate payment arrangements. However, Sterling discovered that Samantha had been purchasing invalid debt portfolios and creating fictitious debt obligations while collecting payments on debts that had been resolved, discharged, or never belonged to the consumers being contacted for payment. Investigation revealed that Samantha's debt collection scam operation had collected over $2 million from more than 1,500 consumers who made payments believing they owed legitimate debts but were actually paying on invalid obligations while being harassed by criminals operating fraudulent collection schemes. Our 33rd story concludes in Las Vegas, where fake prize notification scammer Stephanie operated a fraudulent sweepstakes operation that contacted consumers with calls claiming they had won substantial cash prizes and luxury items through contests they had never entered, requiring processing fees and taxes to claim their winnings. She had been running prize notification scams for 11 years and developed exciting winner notification scripts that combined legitimate contest terminology with fabricated prize awards designed to extract fees from excited victims believing they had won substantial prizes and valuable merchandise. Her operation used sophisticated winner databases, official-sounding contest company names, and detailed prize claim procedures that seemed to provide legitimate prize awards while actually collecting fees without providing any actual prizes or valuable merchandise to supposed winners. When hopeful retiree Thaddeus received calls claiming he had won $250,000 and a luxury car through international sweepstakes programs, Stephanie's prize coordinator provided detailed winning information and claim procedures that seemed to verify the authenticity of the substantial prizes and valuable merchandise being awarded. The prize coordinator explained that my name had been randomly selected from international databases and that I had won substantial cash and merchandise prizes that required immediate claim processing. Thaddeus recalled about the prize notification calls that requested processing fees and tax payments to secure prize delivery. She provided winning numbers and claim procedures that proved the prizes were legitimate and would provide the financial security and luxury items I had always dreamed of winning. However, Thaddeus discovered that Stephanie had been creating entirely fictitious contest organizations and prize awards while collecting processing fees and tax payments for prizes that never existed and valuable merchandise that was never delivered to supposed winners who paid fees believing they had won legitimate contests. Investigation revealed that Stephanie's prize notification scam operation had collected over $3 million in processing fees and tax payments from more than 2,000 consumers who paid fees believing they had won legitimate prizes but received no actual prizes or valuable merchandise, while losing significant money to fraudulent sweepstakes programs that provided no legitimate contest winnings or prize awards. Thank you for joining me tonight on Drowsy Tales Daily, and may these stories guide you into peaceful sleep with renewed awareness of the importance of phone security and protecting yourself from scammers who would exploit your trust during vulnerable moments. Sweet dreams. And I'll see you tomorrow night for another collection of fascinating Reddit stories designed to help you drift off to sleep.